DDG episode 176. My name is Dave Hunt, and I'm joined by Michael Swick, I think. Are you back? Hello? Yeah, okay. I didn't send that case of Coke to him, so maybe it's just myself.
Dave, the internet broke right when you did that intro, so it was perfect welcome back for me. Because I just had to sit there like, did my internet break? Did Dave's internet break? I don't know. But I am back.
I thought you were trolling me. So
No, I legit, think the internet broke for a second. But how's it going, Dave? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm sick right now. I survived airport theme park, and it was
survived in air quotes.
No, I was fine until Saturday night when some friends were like, "Hey, do you want to go get dinner?" And I was like, "Sure." Get back from dinner, immediately knew I was sick, and it's just like, shit. I'm antisocial. I don't do these things.
This is why.
The one time I'm like, you know what? I will go to dinner. I got sick, and right now I'm just hopped up on some Dayquil and some nasal drops.
I'm sorry you had to take Dayquil at 7:47 your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, which means I'm not taking NyQuil tonight unless I stay up till midnight, which I probably will. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, pretty good. There's at least plenty of gaming news, though I missed all the good shit last week. Yeah,
we might have to touch on that a little bit, because I definitely think that you'll have a perspective that maybe is different than what Josh and I had. So speaking of that, again, big kudos and thank you to Josh Langford for filling in last week so Michael could enjoy his time. I'm sure we'll be tapping his shoulder again soon if I take some time off or if my new store ever opens. So, because that'll be a 10-day little hell week for me. So we'll see how that goes. But, if this is your first time listening, we are Digital Days Gaming. We're a weekly podcast that posts on Thursdays, 6 a.m. Eastern time on podcast services. Again, welcome. If this is your first time, thank you for checking us out. If you're a regular listener, as well as thank you for being here all the time. You can watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/digitaldaysgaming. Sharing the show, reviewing the show, just helping spread the word are all great ways to help grow our show. So please consider, if you like what you're listening to, tell a friend to tell a friend, anything. And then you can watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/digitaldaysgaming. We live stream typically on Tuesdays, depending on what's going on during the week. But Michael wasn't feeling great yesterday, and I had a lack of caffeine, terrible headache, because I'm trying to cut my caffeine take down, and it's not working too well.
Addiction is a motherfucker.
Yeah, yes, it is. So, but yeah, there's a bunch of links in the show notes for you to check out ways to join our community. Discord, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff is in the show notes. Please consider checking it out, and we're going to jump into the news.
Yeah, a little bit of news this week. Some cool stuff coming in last second, but we'll start with some Summer Game Fest news. They recently announced their partners, and they're selling tickets to their showcase. So they're going to be at the YouTube Theater on, I had the date in front of me, and I lost it, June 11th, or June 8th. And tickets are like $40 at the YouTube Theater, and they announced their partners, and they have a decent lineup, I'm assuming, because they are selling tickets. There's going to be some good stuff there, hopefully. But some of the partners include Activision, Amazon Games, Gearbox, Netflix, PlayStation, Xbox, Square Enix, Disney, Steam, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers. Pretty much everyone but Nintendo, which isn't too surprising. This is one that Nintendo just released their biggest game of the year a couple days ago, and also it's Nintendo. But yeah, this seems like this might be an actual kind of E3 substitute, at least showcase-wise. If they're selling tickets, I would assume you don't do a live audience unless you have one or two heavy hitters there, and there's publishers there that could
that live audience could turn on you.
And then that's something that I would assume they took into an account before selling tickets to it.
It is only one day or a couple hours, though, so, I don't know. Do you feel like this is something you'd want to see in person, or would you rather sit on your couch and watch it on Twitch?
The only way I'd want to see it in person is if they promised to have hands-on stuff afterwards. Kind of like, it was just press only, but when we went to PlayStation at one point, they were like, behind this screen is just a bunch of demos for the games, and we got to play some demos. I think that might have been the year you went to Activision to see a game called Destiny. But there was this, like, they had like a little warehouse of like, hey, here's everything you saw at the showcase. Here, play.
I think I had to go to a Call of Duty event actually.
It was a Call of Duty event. I just knew it was Activision. But yeah, it's something I would hope they would have some hands-on stuff if you're paying money, but it's also just $40, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, we're definitely not booking flights for this, that's for sure.
No, definitely not going to try. Though I thought about it. I was just like, I could just go. It's $40 a ticket. Just
fly in, go, fly out.
Yeah, but I would probably be I'd probably be disappointed, to be honest. Dave, are you expecting anything big based on some of the people they have announced?
No.
No.
I think that the PlayStation thing, to be honest with you, will be some indies that are on PS Plus. I don't think that you're going to see anything major there. On top of the news today that we already found out that Sony's doing a showcase before Memorial Day. So, or it might be extensions of what's already at that showcase, or conversations of what's come from that showcase. Like if, Spider-Man is showed, like Spider-Man 2 is shown like an in-depth gameplay, trailer. Like somebody might be talking through that with Keeley at this event. Like it would be like the same thing you saw, but hey, did you see this? Did you know he could do this? This is how this works.
We're talking to a developer right now.
So like that would be the only thing I would see. I mean, Xbox being there, I don't see anything being revealed major before their event on June 11th. So it would be a huge bunch of Game Pass stuff, and they'd be like, hey, do you remember all that stuff we showed you 3 days ago? Here's more about it. Here's your Game Pass sizzle reel. Activision, Sega, sure, EA. Maybe you see some more stuff about that game that comes out in a month, the Immortal game, like that Magic first-person shooter. Devolver will be Devolver. So I'm sure that there'll be one thing that I think is really cool, and there'll be like 4 things that you think are really cool out of the whatever Devolver shows. Netflix, yeah, sure, and Square Enix, just a game that's going to disappoint themselves. And I don't know what Disney would really show, to be honest with you, because like they've got the Avatar, which is a Disney property, correct?
It is now, but it's with Ubisoft, so I'm assuming Ubisoft would have rights to show that. So, and there is a Ubisoft Forward happening next month. So
and the only other thing I can think of is Indiana Jones, but I still think that you give that nod to somebody from Bethesda's doing that, right?
Yes. Machine Games, I think.
Yeah. So like that's there's just a lot of crossing over in this, and I mean I expect this to be. This is no slight on Keeley at all, but I just expect this to be like a mid-tier showcase.
Yeah, I have a feeling what's going to anchor it is like Bandai Namco is going to be there, so we'll probably get like our first trailer for the Elden Ring DLC. Yeah. And if you're paying $40 to go in live in person, a DLC being the anchor of your show is probably not something you want.
What's the other game that's coming out? The remake that they're doing?
They're doing a sequel, Armored Core from Software.
Like that
which comes out in August. Yeah. So we could get like some like actual look at the game because we've only seen like trailers here and there. And like Capcom's going to be there, but I'm assuming that's just going to be like, hey, Street Fighter is out in 2-3 weeks. Here's our roadmap, or like here's what to expect. Yeah. PlayStation will probably just throw them like little things. Like maybe if Faction shows up next week, they would they would give them a little something. Or honestly, PlayStation could be there because they're going to just show off Twisted Metal, the TV show, at Keeley, because Keeley likes having celebrities at his events.
Or you get another Kenna Bridge of Spirits game that they're backing.
Yeah. Like you said, they could throw
Stray
indie games
style,
at this.
Kenna style,
Yeah. Maybe we'll see the next game from Young Horses. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's true.
So there's definitely... on a scale of 1 to 10, are you like 1 being not excited at all and 10 being
6.
super excited? 6? Okay, yeah, I'm right. I'm at 5.5, 5. Just because I don't know what to expect.
I would love to be shocked though. Like selfishly, like in my head, I still want a continuation of the Darksiders franchises. I still want like a Ninja Turtles co-op game. There's tons of stuff that I want, and I would love to see, and I would love to to be surprised and be like, wow, that's amazing. Like for that to happen at that moment. But I'm not taking off. Like I don't even know what time this is going to be at. Like I'm not going to like intentionally schedule myself off work to watch this. I might see what starts it with, and if the first thing it starts with holds my attention enough, maybe I'll sneak into the break room or something.
Yeah, like looking at each one, it's like, okay, so Activision, maybe we see a Call of Duty reveal, maybe that seems too big for this, Amazon, they have an MMO or two that they're working on. Annapurna's
But you didn't even list Amazon as a partner.
No, they're in the sheet, but they're not worth putting down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if you go to the article link, there's like the banner.
I don't click
Annapurna.
links. You have one job.
Click on them. Annapurna has a bunch of indie stuff. Bandai Namco, I think anyone would only care about Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Capcom, Street Fighter, CD Projekt Red. I didn't put it in the news, but like sounds like they're shifting a lot of stuff with those Witcher games that they already announced in terms of like layoffs and restructuring of teams. So like that takes care of that. Disney's the question mark, but Disney also covers Star Wars, and there's like 5 studios working on Star Wars or Marvel stuff right now.
Right.
So if you just go through this, it's like Gearbox. It's kind of been a while since we've had something from Gearbox, like a proper thing from Gearbox.
Yeah,
I know
I feel like at this point in time, is this just like a Borderlands remake?
Probably,
Yeah.
especially with their new owners. Like they're not like
they're going
Embracer.
for instant cash, you know.
Yes, yeah, Embracer's instant cash. And then I'm just going through the list. Netflix will just have a bunch of small stuff. Nexon, that's not the company working with Bungie, right?
No, that's NetEase.
NetEase, okay, so they're not on there.
Didn't even then. Sony's. It's a Bungie owned. Sony owns Bungie now.
Yeah,
so.
we still don't know if they like bought them out for that game now. PlayStation, we already talked about. Square Enix, I doubt we'll see Kingdom Hearts stuff, even though Disney's on the list. I know that was the first thing people jumped to, like Disney and Square Enix in the same event. It's like, it's nothing, don't worry about it. Sega owns Angry Birds now, so there's that. Techland, Dying Light just came out last year, maybe an expansion news. Ubisoft just said, like, hey, there's 12 games we're going to release before March 31st of next year, so pick and choose that.
So there's 11 games that are going to be delayed by March 31st?
Yeah. Warner Brothers Mortal Kombat announced today that they're going to reveal their next game tomorrow, so we'll probably get more footage of Mortal Kombat, and then, of course, Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, you put Boone on stage with Keeley and let him talk.
Yeah, exactly. Let him be enthusiastic about Mortal Kombat. Like, that takes like 5 to 10 minutes of the showcase.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think anyone would be disappointed. And then again, Xbox. What do you do 3 days before you're on the back?
You get some of the small Game Pass reveals out of the way, and then put them in a sizzle reel, put them on a poster. You know,
it's just Phil Spencer being like, "Do you want 10 minutes of Forza? Because if you don't put it, I'm putting it in my show."
Right.
And so that'd probably be all they can do.
Roll the Xbox race car on the stage. All right, we're done.
Yeah. Just whatever car's the big car for this game. God, do you remember E3 just every year, like either Gran Turismo or Forza would be like, yo, look at this concept car.
And then there would be F1s. Yeah, F1 cars too, like for any kind of F1 racing. Like
just on the show floor, just here's this car, take a picture. All right, we'll move on to the next story. PlayStation-backed studio Deviation Games hit with layoffs. So Deviation Games announced last year that they're working on an original IP for PlayStation, and the reports are suggesting that layoffs occurred. Over 90 people were let go from the studio, according to these reports, and the studio last year said that they were over 100 people strong, which is not a good sign for how many people might be left. This obviously follows Sony shuttering the Concrete Genie studio, Pixelopus, last week. Mm-hmm. So Dave, it seems like Sony is...
I think they took whatever money they were going to invest into Deviation and bought Sometimes Always Monsters. Or Firewalk.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think this is what happened. Both studios had, D-Day presentations that they had to make, and Deviation failed, and Firewalk thrived to the point where Sony wanted to buy them, and I fully expect in the next 90 days that Deviation either closes or their IP is canceled.
Yeah, it sounds like Sony is in that mood right now where they're looking to what they have, which is why they closed Pixelopus, which I was super bummed out because I really liked Concrete Genie, but then when you look at a studio that made 2 games in a span of 8 years.
And how many I asked this question to Josh last week, so I'll ask it to you. How many copies do you think Concrete Genie sold? If you had to guess.
Yeah,
a mil?
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Maybe pass
That's
over
a high
mil.
end.
Yeah, and then PlayStation Plus.
Ryan wants 10 million in 90 days.
He wants 10 million and a Metacritic score of 90.
Yep.
And I love Concrete Genie. I think I gave it a 9 because I thought it was a good mid like kids game that adults can also enjoy.
Yep.
But most of the reviews I saw were like 8s and 7s. So
this tells me that Deviation was trying to do something like vastly different, and Sony's very concerned about the vastly different stuff. So
especially that's how they were pitching it, is that they were taking a shot doing something like new and interesting and creative.
And I think all of the Rumbleverse and multiverse stuff, like it's got Sony scared, like rightfully so. Like I've been concerned about Sony's games as service lineup for ever. And this doesn't help.
Yeah, no, this definitely is worrisome in terms of like, is this get knocked off from that 10 games before 2026 that are live service?
Yeah. If I don't see Factions next week or in the next month, like I'm gonna feel the same way, because now you're talking about a year ago talked about how many games as a service you have as in development. Where the hell are they? What are they called? What are they gonna be? Like, I'm not expecting them to be out. Give me a title. Give me a name. Is it first person? Is it third person? Is it role playing? Is it MMO? Is it asymmetrical? Give me something.
Do you think there's a chance that like Sony had like 3 first person shooters in the works that are live service games, and it was just like, okay, only the strong are going to survive?
Yeah. Or they let Bungie look at them, and Bungie destroyed all of them.
Yeah, there's also a chance, because when they said... No, they said the live service games around the same time.
I'm sorry, except for Firewalk. Because Firewalk was made by half their team.
Yeah, and then also PlayStation saw that and acquired them when they were at their cheapest, because they haven't produced anything. And they could have done that with Deviation Games, and they decided to...
pull their funding, therefore making Deviation make layoffs.
Yeah, and a substantial amount of layoffs, too. So it's definitely a shame. I don't know if we'll ever see what they were working on, or if it's going to continue. The studio hasn't shuttered, but like losing that many people sounds like...
Right, wrong, or indifferent, we were concerned about this stuff happening with Microsoft acquisitions, and we're not seeing it. Now Sony is either throwing their money around and eliminating studios within the last week, or they're allegedly pulling funding, which is crippling studios.
Which is what they did last year to that Star Wars remake, the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Sony pulled their funding.
It to their auxiliary studio, then gave the Last of Us remake back to Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Like, I mean... I understand that. Like, I feel like this is why acquisitions are currently happening and have to happen, because if you don't acquire somebody, they're gone.
Yeah, and this is also the scary thing when you acquire like studios en masse, which is the fear everyone has with Microsoft. Is you have 30 teams under your belt. Eventually, you're gonna have to cut costs, and that's when studios get folded.
Well, the concern that people have with Microsoft is they're gonna treat them like they treated Rare, which they over the last 20 years they've gimped Rare. But I don't know. This other question popped up that I wanted to ask you. It's a little bit of a sidetrack, but do you think Redfall would be any better or any worse without the Microsoft purchase? Because I don't.
No, and when you look at the Phil Spencer interview, he basically threw that game under the bus of like, we didn't. He basically said, in other words, of like,
it was too far along when we took over.
Yeah, like we didn't, which basically makes it sound like that game wouldn't have happened if we got there in time, or it would have been completely different if we got there in time.
Yeah,
it sucks for Arcane, because like,
well, I mean, it sucks for Arcane. It sucks for Deviation right now with what's going on. But we're not hearing about Redfall coming out and being rough, and we're not hearing about Arcane layoffs. We're hearing about a game that Deviation's making that obviously isn't hitting expectations and causing layoffs before it comes out. So who's worse?
No, that's the thing. Yeah.
Like, they're both.
One company is just killing a studio before they release something, and the other one is letting a studio kill themselves by putting out subpar product. Yeah. So it's rough. But like, we will probably start seeing more of this from PlayStation, and we'll probably see this a lot from Microsoft once they close that Activision deal, in terms of like, hey, there's a lot of studios that they don't have use for.
It makes me want to dig into more and do some more research of other deals that Sony has signed with studios they haven't acquired, because now they've acquired Haven and they've acquired Firewalk. So that's 2 of their alleged 10 games as a service. Factions is number 3.
Fire Sprite they acquired, so they were confident in that one.
Yep, so that's 4. I don't know off the top of my head where the rest of them are coming from. I had a list at one point.
We counted MLB as live service game.
Okay, that's 5.
Because that's 50%. An easy one.
Yeah.
Whatever Bungie's working on, 6.
Yeah, but that was they said 10 before they bought Bungie.
They said it around the same time. I want to say, but yeah, we could definitely break that down. We'll see after next week because we'll probably do a podcast just for the PlayStation event.
Is that next
if
week?
we got any of this, it's next week. It's like next Wednesday.
A week from today. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
boy.
Yeah. Hey, at least it's happening now before you open your store.
Oh yeah, my store's not gonna be open to Halloween.
Okay, there we go. We got plenty of time. All right. Speaking of Microsoft, the EU has approved Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The European Union Commission has approved the acquisition with some caveats. The EU did not feel like this deal would harm the console markets, and that Microsoft would not have a financial interest in making Activision Blizzard games exclusive. But they are requiring Microsoft to basically give a free license to... Okay, it sounds a little weird, but basically one of the caveats are a free license to consumers in the EEA, which is like the European whatever, that would allow them to stream via any cloud streaming service of their choice, all current and future Activision Blizzard PC and console games that they have a license for. Okay? A corresponding free license to cloud gaming streaming services to service... This is the annoying thing. I'm trying to read this, and it's just like a lot of randomness. A corresponding free license to cloud gaming streaming service providers to allow EEA-based gamers to stream any Activision Blizzard PC and console game. Basically,
you have to put Game Pass on all the cloud services.
No. It's basically like, hey,
that's how Microsoft's going to get around it.
Yeah. There's a couple things here. Like, I really like the first one. Basically, it's saying that, like, hey, if you are in this region or whatever, this part of the world, and you buy an Activision game, you can access that Activision game no matter what platform you want to. So, like, one license for that game, you'll be able to access on different services. Cool. That also allows people to try out different services. So
you're saying
it, basically, what they
made
made
on Luna, Netflix, and
yes.
xCloud.
If those companies have an agreement to stream those games.
Okay.
So that means, based on the ones that they already made deals with, like if you buy, or if you have the Activision Blizzard game, if you have Call of Duty on Xbox, you'll be able to play it on GeForce Experience without having to buy another game. Like, as long as you can prove you have that license, which basically means you're going to end up making Microsoft accounts for a lot more people.
Yep.
Regardless of Game Pass or not, it's going to be like you need a Microsoft account to make sure you can renew a license to other platforms.
Yep.
Which benefits Microsoft, but also is kind of pro-consumer in terms of like, hey, you don't have to buy multiple licenses. Though now that a lot of things are, cross-console, cross-play, like it's not that big a deal. But at least it's an option.
I guess it's kind of cool if something shuts down, though. You don't lose your stuff. Yeah.
As opposed to like when Stadia closed and it was like chaos of like on the devs to like figure out how to transport stuff.
Bungie had to like, okay, you got 10 days, like to do this to move your account off Stadia to somewhere else, but you still have to buy the stuff again. In this situation, you might not have to buy the stuff again.
Yeah, you'll just have your Microsoft or Call of Duty account, and then you'll be able to do it that way. The other one that seems a little weird is basically it's going to, for other cloud streaming services, they get an automatic license for Activision Blizzard games. That's the weird one to me.
This is where I think that you're just going to say, okay, Game Pass is available on your platform. Because all of their games are going to be on Game Pass.
Yes, but I wonder if that would push, because the EU also has said that someone's going to be like policing this. So I wonder if it's just going to be.
If I'm Microsoft, the easiest way for me to give access to the library on the cloud service that you're saying is that I need to let that cloud service tap into my Game Pass thing, because that's the most safest, securest way that I know to provide my games to your platform.
And Microsoft would probably be fine with that because it means you have a Game Pass subscription.
Yep. They don't care where you play.
But I can see some of these services being like, I kind of want them in our ecosystem and our ecosystem alone, so I'm just going to let them purchase.
But they allow that. Microsoft allows that too, though, because like what was it? Rainbow Six Extraction was available on Game Pass, but you had to launch it through the Ubisoft store on PC. So, and you had to have a Ubisoft account. So I think you could still provide the same things where you have to have X Cloud Service account, but then you need to sign into Game Pass, or vice versa. Sign into Game Pass and then connect to your cloud account.
They would just have to build an infrastructure for that.
Correct. And they will. We've seen them do it.
Oh, no, they will. It's
I'm sure the Riot stuff that's on PC, like because that's available through Game Pass as well. I'm sure you have to have a Riot account to then link it with your Game Pass account to then play the game. So this is a consumer win and a corporation win together.
Yes. This is a rare, like, kind of everybody wins, though it is going to be a little weird in terms of, like, some of these companies being like, hey, we're just going to take that free license for the Call of Duty games, and, we'll give you your cut when someone buys Call of Duty on our platforms, but that's the only thing we want on our platform, which is going to make them weaker if another company is like, nope, Game Pass is on our platform, we're fine with it.
Yep.
But it puts at least that onto the companies to figure out and make their own decisions on what they want on their platforms.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems weird that the idea of you have to do a free license. And I think a lot of people were confused on what that meant.
And this last bullet point you have on here, in an interview when asked if Microsoft would just consider not selling their products in the UK, Microsoft CEO wouldn't say yes or no. The answer is no, but she's speaking very politically. I believe it's a woman.
No, this one was a guy, so I don't know if it was
the CEO,
the top. Yeah.
Oh, UK Microsoft CEO. My mistake. I'm sorry. He's not going to say yes. He's not going to say no. He's never going to give you a definitive answer. Could I see it as a possibility? Yes. Does it make financial sense? No.
No. Yeah. Exactly. The CMA, the
came out and said we don't agree.
Yeah, they kind of went hard in why this is a bad idea, and that opened the door to where I didn't know this, but I think a lot of people didn't know this either. Apparently, the CMA, because they're UK based, and the EU, they hate each other. I mean, it's not that crazy to understand because of the whole Brexit stuff that happened a couple years ago. But it sounds like there's a dick measuring contest between these two boards to see.
Oh, you said no? I'm going to say yes. Oh, you said yes? I'm going to say no.
Yeah. And it's basically put the CMA with their back against the wall of just are they going to stand their ground? They
got pushed by specifically talking about cloud. So all they've done is given Microsoft ammunition to counter them. And then their same bordering state, to give the best example, just said, no, it's okay over here.
Yeah.
Across the river, it's fine. I'm speaking facetiously. What the hell word was that? But it's one of those things where it's somebody wants to build a fence in their backyard and the left neighbor says no, but the right neighbor says yes. So now I go back to the left neighbor and say, okay, do you want your backyard to have this cut halfway in the middle and not look complete?
Well, there's also Microsoft and especially Activision Blizzard are just we're just not going to do business in the UK, which is all talk. They're going to do business there no matter what, but it's at least enough talk to freak out politicians. Mm-hmm. To be shit, I don't want to be the one that gets Microsoft to not come here. Mm-hmm. Or to leave their office, because it wouldn't.
I'll vote yes for damage control.
And that's what it's going to come down to where, I have a feeling it's going to go relatively smooth.
Suck.
Yeah. Because it's
scratch mine to scratch yours,
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised as soon as this deal closes, and if the CMA approves this deal, you're going to hear Microsoft being guess what? We're opening up a bigger headquarters in the UK. So we're going to see a lot of weird stuff like that, but it's just funny how there's just this war happening in terms of whose commission or board is stronger and tougher, and the CMA is doubling down, which I'm assuming if the FTC folds like everyone else has, that the CMA will have no choice but to just approve this deal.
Right.
Or Microsoft just says, okay, we're just not going to sell Activision Blizzard games in the UK.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is they're going to be on an island.
and they are. So it's perfect.
I mean, once when the U.S. passes it, which they will, whether they make them play some financial yo-yos with stuff or whatever, but this deal's gonna pass. Think China and Japan are like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Japan approved it relatively fast.
So they're gonna be like, the CMA is gonna be on an island, and they're gonna fall to like, you're in the way, and now that you're in the way, like, you're gonna be either you're gonna lose it or you're gonna approve it. Take your pick.
Yeah, and we'll see how much they're willing to do. But we'll move on from that one because that's an ongoing, on-developing thing that will never end. To some brighter news. Zelda has sold 10 million units in 3 days. Not much to say on this other than it fucking sold a shit ton. For perspective,
fastest selling franchise,
Cyberpunk
right?
sold 13 million copies in 21 days. Hogwarts Legacy sold 12 million in 14 days. Call of Duty sold $1 billion in 14 days. And then Grand Theft Auto sold 800 million in the first day. So that's the record still, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty big for
I think it's the
Zelda,
fastest
Nintendo.
selling, the first, because is Pokemon considered first party?
It is, yeah, but this is the fastest selling Zelda game.
Yeah.
And it might be the fastest selling Nintendo game at this point.
Yeah, I know they were saying it was really close to Pokemon Scarlet or whatever just came out. This is not a shock. I put this all over Discord and Facebook groups today when I saw this. Like, let's, and I'm not, I'm not picking on these games when I say this, but like Redfall's awful right now. Jedi Survivor is humongous, like 140 gigs, humongous. Zelda is 16 gigs, 16. And it's going to be game of the year. And it's just frame rate and graphics don't matter when your games are fun. Like,
yeah, no, and that's why, because I saw your comment earlier about Redfall.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Redfall needed to be bug free and have 60 frames, is because it wasn't that fun of a game.
Correct.
Where it needed to do something technically right.
If Redfall was fun, nobody would care that it was 30 frames.
Yeah. But it wasn't fun and busted.
Because Tears of the Kingdom's like 28 frames.
Yeah.
And hardware limitations don't matter. Like, if your game is fun, you can go all the way back. Fortnite's not some technical, like, it's doing some cool tech stuff, but it's not some graphical amazement. Rocket League wasn't some graphical amazement. Fall Guys, Minecraft, yeah. Like, if your games are fun, they allow exploration, and people enjoy playing them, no matter what they're doing. Hell, the first 12 hours, messing around with Zelda's abilities, like, within 12 hours, like, my Twitter timeline was full of people. Somebody made a giant boarded man with a dick and lit it on fire.
Yeah, there's so many dicks. I've seen so many people making dicks in Zelda.
Yeah. Like, Owen is more fascinated by sticking random weapons together and building stuff than he is by playing the game at all.
Like, you gotta play Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, man.
and that's what he does. That's what he does in Minecraft. Like, he just messes around in Minecraft. I built my house. I built another floor in my house. I built the basement on my house. I found lava. I built a lava pit. Like, that's all he does.
Yep. That's kind of all you need.
Yeah. So, I mean, 10 million copies. Like, this is, like I said a month ago on, I think on our Facebook group and Discord, like when we were going back and forth about frames on Redfall and stuff like that. Like, none of it matters because Zelda's game is gonna sell 20 million copies, and this will sell 20 million copies, easily. Yeah. And
the Switch has sold 120 million units.
Yeah.
Zelda's at 10% like attachment
right
rate.
now. Right now.
A weekend. 10% attachment.
And that number's higher than 10 million now. I promise you.
That's what I said. That's why I'm saying it's 10%
13,
now.
13, 14 mil. Oh, you're saying 12 mil at least. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, it's just crazy. And it's 9-year-old, 10-year-old hardware. Like, it just doesn't matter. Make a game fun.
Yep. Runs like shit sometimes. Yep. But it's okay. You deal with it.
Runs like every line I've seen on reviews runs like shit, doesn't affect game. Like When frame rate drops in Overwatch, you feel it. When it happens, you feel it.
Yeah,
you feel it. You notice it. When frame rate drops in Breath or Tears of the Kingdom, you see it, but it doesn't affect anything.
Well, because Zelda knows how to bring it right to the edge to where like this is going to be problematic, and then the game like pulls back, and it's like, okay, cool. We made it through that rough patch. Let's keep going.
Let me pull that tree 100 yards away out, and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
I laugh. I see pop in. I'm like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, no, because it's not that big a deal. And also, Zelda's not trying to do anything crazy visually, to where it's more when a game is
tree that just popped in. Who cares?
Yeah, when a game's promising you like a 4K 60 frames experience, you're gonna get more pissy when like it's not giving you that.
There's more voice acting in Tears of the Kingdom than I ever expected in the first 4 or 5, 6 hours that I'm in. Like, it's just
Nintendo's like, here's 30 frames and maybe 720p. Deal with it, and they build around that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it doesn't have to be some graphical fidelity, and people can say, "Oh, Nintendo games aren't for me. I outgrew Nintendo games." Well, 120 million people disagree with you. Go compare that to your Xbox and PlayStation numbers. Like, and they're gonna make a second version of it with, "Oh, hey, we made fatter Joy-Cons and added another trigger on the back of the thing, and it's gonna run at 40 frames a second now, and people are gonna line up and pre-order and buy it."
It's Nintendo. They'll just be like steady frame rates, no boosting or anything.
920p.
Basically.
All right. So quick things. I just wanted to touch base with, just real quick. So I actually think it's happening. Like, we're going to get NCAA football next year, like, from EA. They're allowing. I mean, I know it's really. I know it was. They said it was happening, but like they have a lot. Today they announced that players can opt in and have their name, image, and likeness put in the game, and EA will compensate them. So what that means, I don't know. $2 a piece. I have no idea, but they're going to get something. So and if they don't want to opt in, then they don't have to, and they won't be listed in the game as likeness.
Which means deals have probably already been signed. They're just comfortable to announce it, which means we are probably a year out, because this summer is probably them signing deals with these athletes to get them on board.
This game's not like these. NCAA comes out August typically, like 12-year-old cadence. But August timeframe, July, as we're getting ready into college football. It's not coming this year; it's coming next year. And you'll actually it'll be the first time you'll have an active college athlete playing in college on the cover.
Yeah,
and it would always have been the guy that just opted out or just got highly drafted or won the Heisman Trophy the year before that left college that was on the cover in his uniform or whatever. So this is cool. Yeah. I think these players should get any dollar they can get. So
I know you were excited about that.
Yeah. So all right, let you talk about what's delayed.
So this is what's canceled, and Blizzard has canceled the Overwatch 2 PvE hero mode. So Blizzard revealed in a developer diary that the PvE that they promised when they announced Overwatch 2 isn't coming along, and they decided to pull the team from that project. They're going to cancel it and just move everyone over to the live service aspect of the game, which is the competitive play. This is a big deal because Overwatch 1 died specifically because they promised that they would be making a sequel that would have equal parts PvE and PvP. And turns out, no. It's just going to be the same game it was before with a battle pass system.
I don't like this because the PvE mode I thought might have been the thing that gets me to play it for a little bit and to get enough comfortability to go into the PvP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This basically is Activision Blizzard being like, we're happy with where the base is now. Like we're not going to grow.
We ain't got no more money.
Yeah, we don't have more money. We're not going to grow our player base. We're just going to milk who we have now. Because the PvE would bring new people in, and instead they're just going with
the PvE would bring new people in that would then eventually play PvP, and the PvP would still get a lot of talk, and that would eventually they would play PvE, and it would just it would help, like, and it definitely wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. Instead, this is like a betrayal of the community, because the community now feels like Overwatch 1 was killed, like completely killed. You can't play that game anymore. If you load it up, it says please download Overwatch 2. And the only difference between Overwatch 1 and 2 at the moment is 2 characters and like 2 maps and a battle pass system, and the costumes are no longer free. You have to pay for all the costumes now.
Yeah, you cannot earn them in game.
Yeah. And this just feels like they never intended to release the PvE. This was only to transition everyone over to this new model. So this doesn't look good for Overwatch 2's.
They use the PvE branch as a way to say we need to put everything on this engine because we're going to do PvE. You need to come over here onto this engine because this is the only way to run PvE. Oh, you're here now. Okay, and we're not doing PvE.
Yeah, and if you remember, Dave, like this whole thing was messy when they first announced it because they're like, Overwatch 2 is going to connect to Overwatch 1. Like, players from there will be able to play with players from here, and all the content will be the same.
On that.
Yeah, and here we are, and they're basically just like, yeah, it sucked. It didn't meet the Blizzard standard of quality, and I don't know what that means anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, because like...
Or Microsoft stopped it. Knock that shit off.
Like, it might as well have been, like, of just like, hey, we can't handle more broken shit coming out with our name potentially attached to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this just shows another reason why like Activision Blizzard and their current, like the current people in charge don't know what they're doing, and it probably needs new ownership. And yeah, will that be Microsoft? Like, will Microsoft be able to change things? Who knows? Microsoft doesn't seem like they can handle what they have in their own house. But shit, it might be better. Who knows?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for news. We're gonna jump into other than like we mentioned, we are getting that PlayStation Showcase next week. So depending on that's on a Wednesday. So typically Michael and I record on a Monday or Tuesday. So we might wait depending on what type of news comes out between now and then. You know, if the Mortal Kombat news is cool enough, if there's enough conversation of news pieces that are coming out. Or we might just wait until Wednesday night and just record Wednesday night and just kind of put it all together, or just make it a PlayStation Showcase-centric thing, similar to what I'm sure we'll do like on June 11th with the Bethesda Xbox thing. So just kind of giving a little bit of perspective. I don't even know what day of the week June 11th is as I'm saying that, but
I can look that up.
We'll kind of just see. So, but that'll be, I'm sure we'll have a PlayStation-centric thing. I'm sure we'll have a Game Fest, centric thing. I'm sure we'll have a Game Pass centric thing and a Bethesda centric thing.
So. Yeah, we'll have a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah. All right. So what we're playing and watching. So mine is obviously Tears of the Kingdom. And I did have a little bit, like a minor GameStop debacle. So we pre-ordered Tears of the Kingdom. We pre-ordered it digitally. Owen tends to lose Switch cartridges. So it was just easier to do that, and I think we did this like 2 weeks before it came out, a week before it came out. And I looked when we got the order, and I'm like, okay, where's the code? And it's not there. I'm like, okay. I was like, fine. It said like order pending. I'm like, okay. I go, maybe I'll get it a couple days before release, whenever preload launches or whatever. If preload's even a thing on Switch, which I found out it was. So then we get like 2 days before the game comes out, nothing. A day before the game comes out, nothing. Okay, maybe I'll get it at midnight. So I go to bed Thursday night, wake up Friday morning, order still pending. It's like, okay. I had to go to work anyway, so I was like, whatever. And then I knew it was only like 16 gigs, so I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't care. I'm not playing it for the next 10 hours. So I mentioned something to Angela, and she's like, all right, I'll reach out to customer service. So she reaches out to customer service in between classes while she's at work or whatever. They're slammed. Customer service is slammed. To the point where she was on hold for so long that the customer service message came back and said, if you'd like to leave a message, we'll contact you again. So she left a message, and it took them like 25 minutes to call her back. Nintendo hadn't given them the codes yet, allegedly.
Why did you pre-order a digital code from GameStop? Did you have a deal?
I think I had funds, or like I said, we do the pay in 4 stuff, or we pay with PayPal or whatever. Like,
okay.
Like, I probably should have done Best Buy or something like that.
Or just Nintendo directly if you're doing it.
Yeah. I don't remember. We might have had some points left over. I don't remember. And I ask Angela when and how can we do this, and she takes care of it. So I'll say I put something on the grocery list like I'm 9, and it shows up in the house. Okay. So anyway, we got the code at like 2:00 on launch day, like 2 p.m. And I was able to download it, and she was out of town on Friday night and Saturday, and Owen wanted to play it, and and I ended up playing it, and it was just weird. I probably won't pre-order a digital code from GameStop again at this point in time. I don't really have a reason for why I did it. Ease of use, I have no idea. It was just something that was concerning. But anyway, it's I have it. It plays. It works. I think that this is one of the better tutorials that they've handled in terms of how they introduce the abilities to you in terms of the game. How they kind of introduce you to some of the mechanical games. Like if you hadn't played Breath of the Wild, you won't feel completely lost in tears. I think that I was just kind of like surprised at like the opening like monologue stuff that was happening, of like how much conversation there was happening, and voice acting, reading, interaction, presentation. I think it was all like very, very good. Mm-hmm. I am a little concerned that the Ultra Hand and the building thing is more about what's going on, but early on the story seems really solid. Introducing more characters, still using the same map, but having the sky and the underground. I haven't even really gone into the underground yet. Messing around in the sky has been fun. The way that they're handling traversal from the sky to the ground, from the ground to the sky, is all I think is all handled very, very well. And I'm very interested in the story. I've just, I'm still in the state of like, I just don't know if I can sit down for 3 or 4 hours and play a game right now. Like it's more been like 45-minute, hour and a half, 2-hour increments. But when I was playing on Sunday night or Monday night, like I was like, okay, I want to get to a good stopping point. And I'm like, oh, what's over there? Like, okay, cool, I got that. Oh, what's over there? Like I was definitely, getting that itch. I'm like, okay, I got to go to bed. Like, yeah. So like that feeling, was there. The map is huge. I'm not going to be the person that's going to 100% and put stamps all over this map and do this, but I'm going to play some core story points. I'm going to hear about or see some cool areas, go to specifically to this shrine, do this, get this cool thing. Like there's the original like tunic that's in there. We bought the amiibo today, showed up on Best Buy's site for like $14.99.
Oh, I got the Zelda amiibo. I've never finished a Zelda game.
Yeah, so I think I can get some cosmetics by sticking the amiibo to my Switch. I don't think I've ever done that.
You don't even have to take it out of the box.
Okay. So, but there definitely seems to be some classic tunic stuff in there that I think, outfits and stuff like that might be pretty cool. But yeah, like I'm happy that there's a Zelda game out. I didn't realize that essentially this other Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, came out like when Owen was born, and he's like 7 now, so maybe a little after he was born. But it's just like a streamer I follow and pay attention to was like, probably by the time the next Zelda game comes out, I won't be streaming. Yeah, so he's like, being able to get two Zelda games in your streaming cycle is a pretty big accomplishment when you're talking about like a 14-year window, from release to release to release. So, but obviously the proof is in the pudding. They don't need to produce Zelda games faster when the ones they produce sell 10 million copies in 3 days.
It seems like a good way to end this console.
Yeah.
Or you hope it ends this console and we don't get like 3 more years.
It's already I think I could be wrong on this, but I swear I read this today. It's already outsold Twilight Princess and Twilight Princess HD.
Which makes sense.
Even though that game came out on the Wii.
No, for sure.
Which had like one of the largest install bases at the time. You know? So, like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, but that's really all I played this week. So.
Yeah, for me, I went on vacation last week into California, so we spent like 2 days exploring Anaheim and then 2 days at Disneyland, Disney California Adventure. So that was fun. A lot of rides broke on us. It almost felt like me at E3.
Really?
Where I was just breaking stuff as I was going on them. A lot of the rides run on Windows XP, which is something I didn't realize, because some of the screens broke and then this broke to Windows, which was just kind of funny. But yeah, we were just there. It was really good weather. Like it wasn't like too hot, too cold. Though it is funny. It was like 50 degrees and you saw people like bundled up, and me and Sarah were from Chicago. We're just like, oh, it was t-shirt weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to, do all the rides we wanted to do. So I didn't play a ton of stuff. I did take my Switch with the intention of playing games, but every time I go on vacation and take the Switch, I think I'm going to use it, and I maybe play for like 2 hours on the airplane in total. but I did play Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp
Nice.
on the Switch. So this is a remake of the turn-based strategy games from the Game Boy Advance. So if you're not familiar with that, you basically are commanding your soldiers to take over enemy bases and, defeat the enemy. Pretty straightforward stuff. I would say this is a really good translation of those Game Boy Advance games on the Switch. They weren't overly complicated on the Game Boy Advance, and they did not do anything to make them more complicated now that they're on the Switch.
Good.
I will say, I wish they did a little bit more with the art style, because Game Boy Advance, it was like very pixelated, and they kind of gave it a mobile phone game look.
Oh, no. Okay.
And it's just a little weird because they did some really gorgeous, like, animated cutscenes, like opening video stuff. That's like, as soon as you see that, you're like, hell yeah, they did amazing work. And then when you actually get into gameplay, kind of just gives you that mobile game feel for whatever reason. I don't know what the logic was behind that other than, like, budget, maybe? But overall, like, it's still those games. It's still really fun and addictive. It's like the perfect, like, handheld Switch game. So I've been just playing that here and there. Still playing the first game, haven't moved on to the second one. There is multiplayer, but you can only play with friends. You can't.
Sounds pure Nintendo right there. So.
Yeah, there's no matchmaking as of right now. I don't know if they plan to patch that in. So that sucks. It's kind of stopped me from doing that. Because guess what, Dave? All my friends that are playing the Switch, guess what the fuck they're playing right now?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, so no one's playing this game that I know. So I've just been diving into that. It's funny, before the Overwatch news, I think I talked about, like, I jumped back into Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was playing like shit, but then I got placed in Diamond, and I hate it because, like, I should not be in Diamond because I have not played in like 2-3 seasons. So I'm just getting my ass kicked, and I'm probably going to get bounced to like Platinum or Gold very soon because for whatever reason, Overwatch said you're doing good enough, and I don't agree with them. So just grinding through that in between Advance Wars, because I'm not going to play Zelda because I never finished them. And I've just been like, I got really addicted to like hunting for PS3 games again. And it seems like I bring this up every couple months where I just go on like an eBay binge.
So he didn't say it publicly, and nobody will believe that I said it because he won't claim it. But Josh is slowly converting to digital because he's tired of moving discs around when his kids want to play different games.
And that makes sense that he would be tired of that. And I'm more of just like, I'm only focusing on the PS3 because that's like the only platform that I actually like really cared about. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine with him because he has like every console since the Atari like set up and active. So that's probably annoying as shit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've just been purchasing random PS3 games. I keep doing a thing where like I keep sending lowball offers to people on eBay, not expecting them to take it, and then they all do. You
send six $15 offers out. Next thing you know, there's $100 less in your bank account.
No, literally, there was like several offers or several games that were like $15, and I'm like, I'm gonna send them an offer for $7. They're not gonna take this shit, and then they all did, and I'm just like, shit, I've spent $30 in a matter of like 5 minutes. So there's been a lot of that. So I just have a bunch of random shit coming in the mail. And then I had my own GameStop debacle a couple weeks ago that I finally closed the door on, where they kept sending me like, I bought a game new. They sent me a used copy, but not just like an open copy, because I know that's what GameStop does. They sent me a game in a sleeve and said that was new.
Jeez.
And then when I called the customer support, they're like, okay, it's $8 to return it. Or come into the store and it's free. The people in the store didn't know how to do the return because it was an online order, and somehow I owed $1. And at the point I was in the store for like 20-25 minutes. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll pay the $1. Give me, return this. And they're like, oh, we got to send you an online game because we don't have it in store. And I'm like, fine. Like, let's do this.
Then it's the game in a sleeve again.
Yep, and they sent a game in a sleeve again, so then I had to go back, and then I'm just like, dude, like, what the fuck? And I ended up getting a copy of Advance Wars, gave up on it. I was trying to get Bayonetta 3.
Okay.
So then finally on eBay, someone was selling a new copy of Bayonetta 3 for like $25. I bought it. I get it. It turns out it's the South American version of Bayonetta 3. So it's still rated by the ESRB, but in the back it's in English and Spanish. So I have that, and it's bothering me because like the North American copies of Bayonetta 3 or Bayonetta 1, 2 have English and French on the ESRB logo. So I have 1 and 2, English and French, and then 3, English and Spanish. I know it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter, but it bothers me that they're different. They're all different games now, it feels like. And I know Dave's just looking at me like, what's it matter? You're going to play it.
I get it. I get it, man. Like,
it just bothers my OCD when I line them up.
I understand you. Like, and we'll flip it. You can start criticizing me now because I forgot that I bought that. I pre-ordered that Asus 7-inch.
God, yeah, Dave, what were you thinking? You're not going to play it. You're literally just going to play Destiny on that. Like that's all you're going to play.
I'm going to play a lot of Game Pass on it. I'm hoping.
Bullshit. You're going to play Destiny on that thing and dabble with stuff and be like, you know what? I'm in front of a PC that's a gaming PC that I bought. I'm just going to play on that.
So when I'm down here, 100%, yes, I am going to do that. But there have been times where I would like to play, certain, like I talked about, like Ravenlock. I can play it on my console. Right now, my Xbox Series X is in my back room of my house because Owen plays like we talked about, Owen plays like Minecraft on it, and he messes around with Destiny on it. So Angela's like, can you please like send him back there? I don't want him in like the living room. Like, so the Series X is like on the back, like on a TV. It doesn't really need to be on because, right, wrong, or indifferent. I got my Series X on a all access thing, and I don't play on it as much as I would want to because I feel like if I'm gonna play, I want to play on the PC and I want to stream. But there have been times where I do like I feel like this is an extension of my PC, and my intentions are to buy more games on my PC. Mm-hmm. My plan was to buy Jedi Survivor on my PC. However, my oldest son wanted to buy it and play it, so he bought it on my PS account because he only has a PS5 down there. So now I have Jedi Survivor because my son and I do the primary console, secondary console thing. Mm-hmm. So, but I could see myself messing around with, like, I can legitimately see myself messing around with Gotham Knights and trying to finish that, which I own on PC. Which if I'm down here playing, I don't think I would stream it. I could see a lot of Game Pass games that I would like to dabble with on this. Like, the battery life sucks. Like, the battery life is terrible. Yeah, but that's
just a given. Yeah.
So, but I could sit on the couch, and my wife could be watching TV, or I could be watching, a baseball game or anything, and I could be playing some games similar to what I have been trying to do with the Switch. Do I see myself using this for Destiny 25-30% of the time? Possibly, if there's enough stuff for me to do in Destiny and I can do it and it'll run well enough. Yeah.
I think Destiny's going to be your most played thing because I just don't see you committing to PC gaming. And that's just because I know you, Dave. Like, I see you buying PC games that you intend to play, but you won't because you'd rather be on a console.
But I'm not playing the stuff on the console right now either. Like, I haven't turned my PS5 on in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm playing the Switch right now. I am playing it in dock mode, but I do like the ability to have this thing. And I have, in prior times when I go on vacation away, I've taken my console with me, and I don't know if I want to, like, I'm never very comfortable playing that on a smaller TV or sitting on the end of a bed versus like propping myself up on a pillow and playing that. And if I could just take my Switch and take this, like, I might be okay. Like,
I just don't see you playing it, but I hope it does unlock like a whole gateway for you in terms of like dabbling on the random bullshit that's on Steam sometimes. You'll be able to jump in those sales.
I still want to jump back into. I haven't finished Darksiders Genesis. I want to do that. I want to play Ravenlock. And like those are like, I know I can play Ravenlock on my series. I can play Ravenlock on my PC right here in front of everybody and stream it. But then when I'm messing around half an hour before bed, or like sitting on the couch watching playoff baseball, football games that I'm interested in but not actively watching, like. I could see. I'm hoping to see myself. I got to figure out some way to break out of the funk. And everything that I was watching and hearing about this was this is better than Steam Deck. It's better than Steam Deck. I know it's missing the touchpads. I don't care. You can buy the excess GPUs for it. I don't care. I can dock it and play it on the TV if I want to. So I could I could treat it as a console and play my PC games on my couch with my Xbox controller. I kind of care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Coming down here sometimes is just kind of like not as not as most comfortable as I want to be. So we'll see. Like I'm on the fence about it, but I didn't want to not pre-order it and then see the reviews over the next couple of weeks and wish that I had, because I could also inevitably never open this and even possibly flip it.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say, Dave, if Destiny becomes your most played thing on there, shame.
Yeah, I agree, and maybe I'll have enough self-control to not even download Destiny on it for a while.
Yeah. The big thing is
that's like 1/5 of the storage if I do that.
Yeah, the thing that's going to be important to this machine is support. Because yes, it's running Windows 11, cool, but in terms of games actually being able to optimize down to it is going to be key, and that's where I think I could see you getting frustrated in terms of having to tweak games for it.
It seems like there's just like within the launcher itself, though, like everything I was reading and seeing, there's 3 settings.
Yeah, there's always like some sort of launcher stuff. Yeah. Like I have an Asus like gaming PC which has the ROG stuff, the artillery or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and
that optimization works like I don't know, like 70% of the time.
I think that I to be honest with you, I fell into the hype. I think they handled the presentation on May 11th, which is ironically enough coincided with my birthday. So my wife's like, "Yeah, happy birthday, shut up." It comes like I get it like next month or whatever. So, but I think that the presentation and then the reviews hitting, like they did it in a perfect PR stack to where I watched the presentation, I saw the price. Everybody thought this thing was gonna be like $1,000, and then because of what it can do and the way they talked about cooling and the way they talked about games working, and again, right, wrong, or indifferent, their partnership with Game Pass, which I don't think you can do on Steam Deck at all without back booting it or jailbreaking it. And then right after that event, review after review after review from people having this thing for 3 weeks and playing it and talking about some issues, what games ran for them, what games didn't run for them. And it seemed like the consensus was anything that's on a Game Pass service works. It works fine.
Yeah, Epic Game Store should work. Yep. Game Pass should work.
And then combining all the launchers together, Epic Store, the games that I have on Epic Store, the games that I have on Ubisoft Store, the games that I have on Steam, it's all there. It all work. It all connect. So it's kind of like an extent, like a Switch. Like if I want to play in high end mode, and I want to push 120 frames a second, I'll play on my PC downstairs. If I want to kick back and play Ravenlock and enjoy myself, and like I could have totally seen myself a year ago like playing Nobody Saves the World on this, start to finish.
Yeah,
like I know exactly what this is, and I know it's very niche. But for me right now to be in a financial state where I'm like I want it, and I could get it, felt good too.
Yeah, no, I totally, I mean, shit, that's what kind of restarted my obsession with PS3 games is like hit a financial point where I'm just like, you know what, I can buy that thing that will make me happy. So I completely understand that.
I'm supposed to take an hour lunch as a manager for this company that I work for. I'm supposed to work.
Good fucking luck, Dave. I'm still trying to get used to hour lunches, man. It fucking blows my mind.
If I can take this machine, and I know I just talked about not downloading Destiny to it, but if I can take this machine and eat my lunch for 15 or 20 minutes,
planning his Destiny time with this,
and play 40 minutes of Destiny at work, it's a win. Man, is it not? Could you not see this? Could you not throw this in your bag, Michael, and play 2 rounds of Overwatch?
I live in Chicago. I would be too worried about losing that fucking thing. But yeah, no.
Or could you put it in your desk drawer that you lock at work and leave it there and have Overwatch 2 on there and play it for a half an hour every day at lunch? And is that worth $700 to you?
Man, I just wouldn't want to deal with people after I play Overwatch. Just like, Swick, why are you in a shitty mood? I fucking lost 2 matches in a row because the fucking widow. But no, I see your point. Like, if you can, like, find, especially, like, when you are taking those longer lunches, it's going to take you so damn long to get used to that.
I've been there 5 months. I haven't done an hour yet.
So. Yeah, no, it's impossible. My manager had to tell me,
like, if I can find something to distract me a little bit, you know.
Yeah, my manager had to tell me like you got to take the full hour, and I was like, oh, I didn't want to.
Oh, you have to.
But yeah, no, I get it, Dave. I'm just hoping it actually opens up a gateway and it doesn't just lead to here's another Destiny machine.
Mm-hmm. No,
but if that makes you happy, cool, go for it.
If it turns out to be 50% Destiny and Game Pass, that's a win for me. Like,
yeah.
And then, ideally, like, I would love to, check out some cool stuff. And it seems like the only the only platform that's really supporting indies well right now is PC. So,
that's for sure.
All right. So that's kind of where we're at for this week. Questions and comments we're going to skip because we knew we were going to catch up with Michael a little bit and we had a couple heavy news stories. So please consider sending us those questions. Again, we don't have to ask for them. Please just go ahead and ask them. Post them in Discord under Ask Digital Days. Post them on Facebook group just as a question. But send them to us on Twitter. However you want to communicate with us, that's all linked in the show notes. Facebook group, Discord server, our Twitter account. Our Twitter account is at Digital Days Pod. Michael's is at The First MJC. Mine is at Good Dave Hunt. And again, Facebook group, Discord server, all linked in the show notes. Patreon's down there as well. We're still working on a little bit of some slight rebranding of some stuff. Michael's doing some image work and some logo work right now, as you can see on Twitch and our Twitter. It's kind of a little bit more of the color scheme and, just kind of making some logos not changing much. Just colors are, trying to move up a little bit and have a little bit more pop just to see some stuff. So, we might try to do something cool with the chat bubbles and DDG or something like that. We're working on a bunch of stuff. So it's kind of where we're at as we're getting close to, I guess, like 4 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
5, 4, yeah.
4.
So 4. So other than that, that's really all I got. Michael, you got anything else?
No. Just we're gonna be on our Switch for the next week or two.
All right. I hope everyone has a great week. Keep moving forward.
Don't be a dick. See ya.